because the Strait of Hormuz blockade that continues on part of Iran's side. And what has now been said that further, the Strait of Hormuz blockade is the U.S. naval blockade that has been enforced. And what has now been shared that this number has significantly gone up. Previously, it was being said that around 27 ships have been asked to turn back by the U.S. forces. And this number has now been updated to 38. So dramatic developments that has been taking place in this week alone, in this last 1 week. What we are looking at is how, the U.S. Navy has been intensifying the monitoring of the commercial ships, and they are now barred from entering ports. Or maritime pressure that seems to be building on Iran. So what is the U.S. naval blockade that is not just restricted beyond the Strait of Hormuz, but it is restricted to far wide waters is something that the U.S. naval blockade has been in effect. So it is turning back at least 38 of the ships, and this is now coming across as the latest information. But another information, exactly what Iran is now proposing to the White House. Let's pick up that report. These are exclusive details of the said proposal by Iran, and it is still unclear if on part of White House they are accepting this very proposal. So there are details that actually talk about this proposal. When it comes to the nuclear negotiations, Iran wants the talks to be held later, to be postponed. But however, the main priority remains when it comes to opening of the Strait of Hormuz. So as far as the economic blockade is concerned, that seems to be working, as now Iran is also realizing as far as its entry and exit points of the Iranian ports are concerned, that has been blocked by the U.S. naval blockade. However, Iran here also seems to be feeling the pinch, Mayank, because this is something which President Trump has been saying. Because when he said that, we wanted talks, Iran said a proposal, I was not very happy with it. And when we said we are going to, happen the talks on a negotiation by a phone call and not a face-to-face talk, he again said that we have received another proposal. So what is this proposal that Iran seems to be giving? Of course, no confirmation coming yet from the U.S. side.
So when you talk of $107 price of the crude, you are talking because of the blockade only. This is for the significance of viewers, and also understand this point. Whatever you say, geography has been in the favor of Iran, because northern side of the entire stretch of Strait of Hormuz lies with Iran, and there is something called as territorial waters, which is up to 12 nautical miles in general cases. Not in this case, because there's a specific reason for that. A division takes place on different laws and ways in which. So once the movement starts happening, that will ease out the kind of a pressure on energy, at least, and for the world, has been the basis of running the engine of economy for Iran. So definitely it must be pinching. Also, what is pinching the other countries in the region is because this passage was used for exports by the other countries also, which includes Saudi Arabia, which has started finding out alternate ways and means to export this energy. Oman, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar. Understand these points. That's how it has pinched. So whatever is seen as or something which brings ease to this, alleviate the situation, will be seen as positive. So whatever Iran is saying, willy-nilly, it will talk about the movement of the fuel or exports of the fuel. And remember, toll need not to be forgotten.
But this is something which Iran on its mind has been saying, that, as far as monetizing the Strait of Hormuz is concerned, the revenue that it wants to build and generate, some of that has already been collected on part of the IRGC. Please to stay on with us, because as far as the removal of the U.S. naval blockade is concerned, President Trump has been ruling that out completely. And he thinks that U.S. has all the cards. He thinks that the big advantage is that, they have taken out the Iranian Navy completely, as he says. They're lying at the bottom of the sea, and they've taken out their air force, and they are currently in a very bad shape militarily. And of course, the U.S. blockade that has now been enforced, well, it has been unbelievably effective. This is now coming in from President Trump himself. Of course, this is a statement that he has repeated in the past. But now this seems to be the very condition where President Trump now seems to assert that it is the United States which has all of the cards. Remains to be seen exactly what happens now. Thank you, Mayank. We'll come back to you. In the meantime, we head into a very short break. The morning news continues on the other side.